Hey there. Welcome to the 30. Today we talk business, we talk entrepreneurship, we talk eBay, we talk music. Let's get started. Hi, gang. Welcome to the 30. This is your host, Patrick Jackman. Today, we are going to welcome two entrepreneurs, great guests. We're going to be talking about business. We'll be talking about entrepreneurship. As I said, we'll be talking about eBay. We'll be talking about music from two small business owners. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, make sure you drop them in the comments line. This is 30 minutes of discussion, and I welcome you to be part of the 30. Of course, the 30 is brought to you, sponsored by C-Ray's Thought Pops. So if you want something like these to help spice up your gathering, your training, we love C-Ray's Thought Pops. Make sure that you grab some of these. We'll be talking about them as we go forward. I'm going to give you some information as how you can get your own Thought Pops. So let's bring our guests in. I have Brenda Aaron and I have Ray Marshall. Welcome.
What up? What up? Hey.
Nice to be here.
All right. So let's get it started. Let's not waste any time. Dre, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for joining us. Brenda, how are you?
And likewise, I'm doing great. Nice to see you.
Okay, good. Make sure that you share this broadcast, guys, because this is some great information. Also, like it and send us some comments, all right? Dre, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and where are you?
Well, it's funny. Right now I'm in Miami, but I'm based in Daytona Beach, Florida currently. And I'm managing partner right now at a company called The 30s. And we specialize in music production, singing, songwriting. We have a recording studio there. We do licensing, we do sync. And so our focus is basically curating songs, but also finding good homes for those songs and collaborating with songwriters and producers to make that happen. So that's what I do.
Awesome. And how long have you been doing this, Dre?
I've been professionally doing it for about 4.5 to 5 years. And it's birthed out of managing my business partner, who's an incredible songwriter. I was managing him and he wanted to move forward with having a publishing company so that we can control our music and so that we could be as dominant on the business side as we were on the creative side. And that's what we stepped in, and that's where I've came in to work more on the business and on project management and different things like that.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, Brenda, let's talk about you and what you do.
All right, I got to follow that, huh? I'm not in Miami. I'm in Rochester.
Hey, I love it.
Rainy here. I come from a small town, called Avon, so I represent the small town gals here. So I'm just a high school, got B's and C's, did a little college, got married, had a couple kids, and I decided to sell something online one day. And I got that cha-ching, that little, you sold something. And boy, that just hooked me. So ever since then, I've been just going at it, buying things and reselling them, and self-educated myself. I'm big on self-education, learned all about eBay, and now it's my big gig.
All right. So you turn a small gig, a side gig,
yes,
into your real gig.
Into the real gig.
All right. That's good. That's good. So let's go with Dre again. So Dre, how did you actually get into the music business? I know, well, Dre's from Rochester. If you guys don't know, I've known him for years and years and years. From
Yeah, a long time.
our church days when he was.
Yeah.
So, Dre, how did you get into the music business professionally?
Actually, when I started, when I left college, I became an artist, and my friend and I, he was producing and I was performing, and we were working together in that capacity. And after a while, when I stopped doing music as an artist, he became an artist and a songwriter, and his career went exceptionally far. And at the time, he came and he told me that basically he wanted to bring me on as a part of his management team to help build what he was building, in the sense of business out of just making songs, and to make it more than just making music, to make it something that could be for years and years to come. And to be young black man building something like that was something different that I hadn't heard of. It wasn't the glamour, it wasn't the glitz, it wasn't the fame. It was literally building and structuring a business, a music company. And so when we decided to do that about 4.5 years ago, we just went full head at it. And as we all know, every success that you have probably comes after like 100 failures, right?
Yeah.
100 mistakes. Like, you do a bunch of things wrong, and that's actually why you're good at anything, right?
Yeah.
So we fumbled through mistakes, and we've just went through the process of learning different outlets and different opportunities, but approaching music in more than just let's do hip hop songs, or let's just do rap music, or let's just do these songs, or let's only go this way or this direction. Because right now, even now in this COVID era, like, any of your pre-COVID models don't work in a post-COVID time. So everybody's looking for ideas of how to succeed and how to be successful at this time. And there's only two things you can do. You can only do what works, or try things that you think work. That's it.
That's it.
That's where we are.
Okay. I'm going to put a couple of comments here. Your dad and mom wants to say hi.
Hey, what's up? Dr. B, what's up?
Your mom wants to say hi too.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Hey, she had this hat on the other day. That junk was bad, man. It was like a high hat. It was, oh man, she was so fly with it.
Awesome. So, Brenda, how long have you been doing eBay, and what are some of the things that you've taken away from eBay at this point?
Well, I guess I can. I've been doing it since 2004.
Wow.
I always do the math in my head for quite a long time. So, and I always, I did the 9 to 5 job, being a mom, taking care of kids, doing the normal thing. But I always saw something outside the box that I believe we're all gifted with something. Yeah. And what life is grand when you can live and work within those giftings. And eBay provided that door for me that I went through that made a bigger life for me, outside of the norm of society. So being willing to take risk, I think Dre was saying, and so being different. Yeah. And having the boldness and the courage just to do that. And when times are slow and you make mistakes and all that, to sustain and keep the beat, keep it going, keep doing what works. Even through the COVID thing, keep doing what I've learned, keep doing what works, keep doing it, keep your eyes open for new opportunities, because they do arise. Yeah. So, you just got to keep your ears and eyes open. And even through the COVID thing, I'm able to still sell, and maybe in different ways in some ways, but it's still, I always just keep it going. So that's kind of been my motto through these times. So
that's good. So let's talk about the COVID through this pandemic. Dre, you mentioned that you could either try something new, or you can keep doing the same thing that you've been doing. What are some of the things that you've tried or you've had to do during this time that is different from what you did before in the music industry?
To be honest, I want to say this intelligently, but I don't know the best way to say it. But look,
I'll just say it.
there's you just do stuff.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what works, and you don't know.
No.
All you know is historically what you've succeeded at and what's been successful. And so you revisit those things and you just try new things. So during this time, it's just been more of a time of refocusing and taking inventory of business, scaling, downsizing in people and product and even focus, and just attempting those things and hoping that one of them work. Like, not even to be like, that's it. Like, there's no like super dope strategy. It's just like trying I'm reading this book called The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. And I'm in scroll 3 right now. And this is maybe my 3rd time in my life reading this book. And this book is just about persistent and just like, you just got to keep trying, because who knows, most people, right? Most adults that are like in their 40s, right? Or like 35 and up, they're all mostly doing things that they never imagined or thought they would be doing, even though it's close to what they love to do, but maybe not in the same capacity, right? So even in modern times, we don't really know, or in past times, we didn't know how we would arrive where we arrived. We just wanted to get somewhere. And that just came from constantly trying and doing what worked until we hopefully found what we love, right? So now I mean, anything that I'll do, anything that makes what I'm doing enhance, and basically any opportunities that build or create value to what I'm doing, or open that opportunity and pay. So that's what time we're in right now, right?
So you mentioned, and Og Mandino, that's a great book. It's a small little book. If you haven't read this book, it's a small little book, and it's an older book, but it's a test of the time. And I've read that over and over also. If anyone out there have not read it, I highly recommend that you get a copy of it.
It's great,
because it's life-changing.
Yes. I agree. It takes a year to read too.
Brenda, let's talk about eBay. Where do you get your products from to sell online? Because and where do your customers come from?
Well, initially it was just going to an auction and buying something at an auction and reselling it. Then I started to go to garage sales, clearance sales, and any kind of thing. Those were my 3 main avenues. But as I embarked further in the business, I started to meet people, and people that had small business themselves, and to connect and network with them. And that was a big inventory way, is just branching myself out, getting to know people, and we work together, a brick and mortar store and online. And, I do a lot of that now. So few people I have with that. So, so a lot of things now, I'm just like with the COVID times, is everybody's afraid to touch the mail. So I was really scared. That's how people buy my product. I'm afraid to touch the mail. That's how my business worked. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So when I calm down, be less afraid, I realized that always have that inventory, behind it. As you're working, don't spend all, just to make sure you have something in the back that you can, as you get further, at the initial, you can't do that, but just for those rainy days, I guess, for those hard times, to have inventory and resources and networking that you can branch and be creative with other people. How can we bring our, what we do together, and we both, can benefit from it. So hope I answered your question.
Sure. Yep, you did. And you hit on a great point that I imagine, Dre, most likely this is part of your business as well, is a strategic partnership.
Yeah.
because you have to have partners in order to succeed in life. So
Mhm.
Dre, what type of partners is would you say is beneficial to your business?
Um, to my business, creative partners are essentially important. Of course, people who make music, whether it's songwriting or production or any type of creative efforts. Actually, not a lot. All of the successes I've seen have been collaborative efforts between multiple
Mhm.
people. Sometimes you may have a music supervisor who's a key person, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's an assistant to someone who was the most important, or sometimes it's been a phone call from a friend to
Yeah.
another friend that created the opportunity. And but we also work with publishers and other producers, other people who working towards the same goals as us,
Yeah.
that who have also achieved the same results as us. And that's typically who I try to work with. Sometimes it's cool to work with people who are doing new things or starting, but I try to get involved in relationships with people who are looking to achieve the same things, that feel like they're capable of doing that.
Mhm.
And so, but you never know, right? Like you could have dinner with someone and you can get an opportunity to do something that's life changing, that
Sure.
has nothing to do with what you thought was going to happen from who you thought it was going to come from. And so, and I know that sounds crazy, but that's exactly what life is. Like you meet people, you form relationships, and you
Yeah.
create opportunities, and you make money together, or you achieve
Mhm.
goals and you make successes together. And you never know how that's going to come, because it
Mhm.
comes from different things, but it usually speaks to your character, it speaks to your relationships, it speaks to your ability to achieve at business and things that you've attempted to do as well.
So you're talking more in terms of not prejudging anyone, because you never know who
Mhm.
is that key strategic partner, right?
I try to separate the person from the work, because sometimes people are good at something, but maybe they're not good at life.
Sure.
Some people are good at life, but they're terrible at tasks. And so sometimes we tend to judge people for the right things and the wrong, or for the right reasons at the wrong things. Like
Mhm.
I don't attribute LeBron James to being an amazing basketball player because of his parenting skills.
Yeah.
I attribute that to him because of what he achieves in basketball, clearly, right? But sometimes we don't like people because of the way they work or because of how they work. But if they're able to accomplish the goals and not compromise what it is that you want, then I mean, why not work with them, And so I think it's all about goals. I think it's all about achieving goals. I think it's all about trying. And people who have the right spirit or the right character, the right energy and the endurance, because this is about failures, not successes. And
Yeah.
you keep trying until you succeed and until something works. And after that works, you say, yay, that worked. And then you go back to failing at something else until that works, or tweaking
Mhm.
that or moving that, or
Yeah.
areas of opportunity where you can succeed. So it's really just about endurance
Mhm.
and being crazy enough to keep trying, because
Yeah.
who's not insane that tries to be an entrepreneur
Uh,
or do anything that relies on response of others, right?
mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's and Dre, that's a great point for actually for entrepreneurs, for anyone that decide that they're going to get out, branch out, and take a risk. You talk about failure. I always
Mhm.
say you fail your way to success,
Mhm.
because you never know as you go along. You never know when that success point is going to come. But if you give up too early,
Yeah.
you'll never reach that point of success.
True.
So let's talk about this. Let's switch then, since we're heading down in that road. Let's talk about, Brenda, what is your biggest failure in eBay that you didn't give up on that brought success? And Dre, think about that for you, because I'm going to ask you
Oh,
that.
you got time to think about that one.
Right.
I know.
Right. Where do I
I
start?
when I look back, I don't look at it as I've had any failures. Not to say that I didn't have any hard times now
That's good.
or slow times, but I didn't see them as a failure. I saw it as you have to have within yourself slow times, the gumption to keep going, keep trying, keep looking outside the box. So I think those failures really turned into growing me as what you need to be as a employed. And so I don't see them as failures. There might be some, I see them more as tough times. So it's led me to where I am now, that it's my job. I thought this was always a side job for me, and now it's my job. So those failures are necessary, because you can't tick the same way all along. You got to change with the times, meet new people, like he was saying, network constantly out there. So that's kind of my perspective on it.
That's good. Drake, what about you?
I mean, maybe yesterday, I don't know. Right? Like, I think that I would be honest in saying that, every day, I make an attempt. I send out emails, I make phone calls, and if I don't get that response today, I wake up and try it again tomorrow. I do it again the next day. And every attempt that didn't succeed, I consider a failed attempt. But I know that every time I continue making those attempts and keep trying, I know that eventually it's going to work. It's whether or not I have the endurance, or whether or not I'm going to keep doing it, or whether I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've always looked at, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've built a lot of ideas wrong. I've put a lot of energy. When you're new in business and when you're starting out in your first few years, like, listen, I think it's a majority of businesses fail in their first year.
Yeah.
In the second year, it's still about the same. And hopefully within your third year, you're still going. Around 5 years, maybe you do okay, right? Or maybe you just have a story to tell for the last 5 years, right? And so you make a lot of mistakes early. You make a lot of mistakes investing in things that you shouldn't have invested in, or you thought this was going to bring a result and it doesn't. And so you should have put it here. And, you went and got a website, but you didn't need a website. You should have just got a Facebook group.
Yeah.
And, you bought business cards, but you didn't have a location. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You got an email, but no one even emails you. You do a bunch of different things. You go with marketing people, but that's how you learn what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And sometimes you marry that with what does work, and sometimes you listen to people, or you listen to people in business, or you waste time listening to people in business do these webinars, and they say, yeah, so you want to be great in business. Well, let me tell you, I was great in business, and they tell you their whole story, and then they go at the end like, so if you want to learn how to do what I did, just pay $39.99 and you get this whole book. And you never learned anything, but you wasted a whole hour of your night, but maybe in that chat you exchange some emails.
Absolutely.
And maybe you got some contacts. So it's really based on how you attempt to succeed. Some people look for perfect worlds. Like, if I had this, I could do this, I could do that. But the reality is everybody started with nothing. Everybody started somewhere. No one started with all the lights and the cameras and all of the big toys. It was people who were persistent and made great with the little that they had that succeeded.
That's good.
So I would hope that that's the goal.
And that's a good lesson for entrepreneurs and those that are looking to start, is that you don't wait till everything's lined up perfectly. You just got to go.
You got to pay to line it up, and hopefully this pays to line it up.
Yeah, just go.
That'll let you know if you should do
it. Brenda, let's do this. Let's talk about one lesson that you've learned from being in business that you like to share to our audience? One lesson.
Don't make it your first love, because you'll lose a lot of sleep at night.
Okay.
Keep a balance. It's going to require a lot of your time, a lot of your mental, oh, my wheels get to turning. So I keep it in a balance, not for it to overtake me, because you got to have a healthy home, healthy self-help, stay healthy mentally, physically. So I make it maybe my second or third. Spiritual health is important to me. So important not to make it your first love.
So don't spend 100 hours a
Yes,
week.
just in that business, because you'll burn out.
Right.
You'll burn out. You'd be tired, and you may be on the right path, but you don't want to burn out either. You got to keep it healthy.
So the key is to have a healthy life, family,
Yes.
spiritual family.
Spiritual, mental, self-health. Make sure that you address all those things. Because I wasn't able to sleep at night because I thought about all the time, checking my phone in the middle of the night, see if I got any sales. That's not healthy. I'm listening to my husband, but I'm not listening to my husband, because I'm at the phone. So I'm learning to be more balanced.
That's good.
And I'm happier. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Dre, what about you? One thing that you have learned, one lesson from your years in business that you'd like to share?
I would say in hindsight, one of the lessons I learned is that you really should invest your time wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the things that Brenda said is like, sometimes you can spend so hard trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Mm-hmm.
And you really could have just took your time and relaxed until the round peg came.
Yep.
Because no matter how hard you pushed and prodded and greased and squeezed that square peg, it was never going to fit until you got the round peg at the right time.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes instead of using our time to regenerate and revive so we can go further, we take on other tasks that take 2, 3, 4 times the work for 2, 3, 4 times less the reward. Mm-hmm. And we could have used that time wisely to potentially build something better, or we could have used that time to rest and regenerate. And sometimes we find ourselves busy and not productive, just busy. Yeah. And busy isn't productivity. Rest is as productive as being exceptionally busy at a time. So
gotta give you 2 thumbs up on that one. That was good.
So good. Now I think in hindsight, I wish that I would have taken more time to spend with family and to build my business in a way where it was self-sufficient and didn't need me as much in as many places because I was so busy, instead of allowing the people in those positions to either fail until they succeeded or to fail until they walked away, but to push themselves to get to the next level. And sometimes when we love our business and make it our first love, we enable everyone around us by being hands-on in every area instead of allowing things to be seen for what they really are. And we get tired of carrying that load and managing that expectation. And when we get tired of managing that expectation, it's bad for everyone,
So you're talking about basically empowering and developing others to take the load and trusting them.
Yeah.
And allowing them to do the work so that you can get the rest.
Yes. Yes.
And that's leadership.
Yeah. It's we think that we think that we are good leaders because we help people finish tasks, or we help them when they're tired, or we cover up for them. But that's actually poor leadership. Good leadership is holding them accountable, letting them know where they're failed, and maybe encouraging them to figure it out. Because the reality is where we all go wrong is in most businesses, we love people and we just want to get someone there. We need help. But Bill Gates one time said, you should hire people and let them tell you what to be doing.
That's right. That's right.
Not the other way around. Because when you get into the business of telling people what to do, you spend your time. I was reading this book and it said, when when you're a CEO, you think you're the chief executive officer, but really you're just the chief reminding officer. All you do is spend all day reminding people of tasks and reminding people what to do. And that's not how you want your business to work. You want your business to be built with people who are able to give the same amount of passion in their amount of time that you give in your time. You know.
So you guys got me all fired up now. I'm ready now to just go out there and teach because you're hitting on some points that I tell leaders all the time, right? Is that you have to be able to develop your people, empower them, and trust them to do the work because you have already equipped them. Don't try to do everything all by yourself. That's not good leadership.
If you still got to do it after they do it, what's their value, honestly?
Exactly.
Like if you take yourself out of the equation and all of those things fall apart, what honestly is your value or what is their value? And the truth of the matter is that every team has people who what should be happening is interdepending. We all should, and as I'm saying that, the reality is we all should be bleeding into each other's tasks to help each other succeed and help each other grow. But the moment that becomes expectation for things to get done is where you start to find failure amongst your team and amongst yourself. You know what I mean? Like I should help you, but that doesn't mean that my task should get neglected. That means that my task is completed and I got an extra few minutes to help you complete your task. And maybe the next time it'll be the same way around, you know? And so that's kind of what I think as far as like building your team. It's important, man. Teamwork is the most important thing. Collaboration and working with great minds and working with people who are better at the things that you're not good at. Like that's the most important value to building your business. Our love affair with our business and our trust issue is usually where we find our failure at, like 90% times.
Yeah.
Oh man, we are out of time. This is good stuff. I can keep going like, oh, great. This is awesome. I want you two are just, we're gonna have to do this some other time. Actually, I'm gonna launch something. I'm gonna talk about it right in a couple of minutes here, but it will give us an opportunity to actually talk some more.
Okay.
But I want to thank you so much. Let's do this. I'm going to give you 1 minute, do a rapid fire. So I'm going to ask you two questions each, right? Let's start with you, Brenda. What is the last book that you read?
I've got my Love Talk Starters. Putting my husband first. Happy home. Love Talk Starters. Yeah.
Great. All right. Next one is, let's see. One thing that you live by. I know one thing that you live by.
Loving one another.
Loving one another. Okay.
Loving one another.
Okay.
Treating people right.
There you go.
You can't go wrong. Yeah.
People right. I like that. Dre, last book that you read.
Man, I'm reading The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino right now. That's a really good book. And The 4 Agreements is the next book that I'm about to read. So
The 4 Agreements. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Yes.
All right. So one thing that you live by, one mantra that you live by.
Just working until the task is complete.
There you go.
Okay. Awesome. You guys have been great. We are way over, but this is excellent information. I want to thank you so very much. Both of you have been great, and I hope that our audience has taken away something from you. If you've taken away one thing that you can implement in your business or in your life going forward, these 35 minutes would have been worth it. So again, Brenda, thank you so much. Much success in your business.
Thank you, Patrick.
And Dre, much success in your musical business. We will connect with both of you. Just stick around in the green room, and then I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Nice meeting you, Dre.
Brenda.
Yeah.
So we were just talking to Dre Marshall and Brenda Aaron about entrepreneurship and business. I am so fired up and so excited, as you can tell, and we can continue this for hours to come. But I want to talk about one thing that we're going to be doing, that we're going to make an announcement pretty soon here. But I'm giving you a preview of it, and it's a lunch and learn. So we are going to be starting that come November 10th. And it's a lunch and learn. If you are a leader, if you are a business entrepreneur, this is it. November 10th from 12 to 1. It's called a lunch and learn. We're going to do it starting November 10th. It's going to be bi-weekly, every other Tuesday. And it'll be a place and time where leaders and business professionals can come together virtually. The common purpose is professional development, connection, and empowerment. So we're going to drop that information in the chat room, in our chat. So check it out, sign up. You'll have to register. Make sure that you tell your friends, tell your comrades, but this is going to happen. We're excited about it. Make sure that you don't miss it. November 10th. So that's about it. Whew, that is a lot. Thank you so very much for being here. This is the 30. We do this every Thursday from 7:30 until 8 p.m. every Thursday. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you to our sponsor, C-Rays Thought Pops. And make sure that you pick up one of these, and I will give you the information. C-Rays Thought Pops. Wonderful. Again, thank you. May God bless you and bless your family. Be safe.